Welcome to You Don't Know Anything About Women, episode 22. I'm your host, Roy Calvin. I've got a couple of really short posts to start off this episode, but I still wanted to touch on them. Let's get right into the first one. I've had a crush on this girl and she likes me as well, but she slept with someone else last night. What do? I feel so defeated and upset about this because I thought we genuinely like each other. We aren't exclusive or anything, but I feel so upset. As you can see, there isn't a whole lot of information to go off of here, and the OP only wrote a couple of comments, but this thread just got a ton of comments, like 500 comments from everybody. But anyway, the OP says down below that they're both 23 and that he was trying to take it slow out of respect. And as far as I can tell, they're not even dating or anything. But he says in the title of the post that she likes him as well. I don't know why he thinks that. That might have been the case. It's probably not the case anymore. I mean, she could like him and still bang other guys, but that's not really the type of girl that you want to get involved with. But if she really did like him, I don't think she would go around banging other guys. I mean, a very small percentage of girls would do that, I think. So what you need to do is forget about her. I don't know what's going on in this situation. I wish I had more info. Like, maybe she does actually like this guy and she's telling him, oh, I'm so sorry about that. I didn't mean to do it. But I don't think any of that has any meaning at this point anyway. So your one question is, what do? You forget about her and you find another girl to pursue. I mean, you find several girls to pursue, really, is what I mean to say, not just one. And believe me, we've all been in this situation where we like a girl and she goes and whatever, bangs another guy, goes on a date with another guy. We've all experienced that. Even myself when I was younger, of course, just fucking heartbroken because the girl that, you put her on a pedestal because you're so inexperienced with dating and everything. I'm talking about how I felt back in those days, but I'm kind of assuming you are the same way. And then she does something that doesn't align with the extremely high expectations that you have for her, and you just feel like complete shit. I totally understand it. So going forward, don't put girls up on this pedestal, especially when you haven't even defined anything. Now, when I say define, I don't mean to contradict myself because I say in episodes about how you shouldn't have this big, oh, are we exclusive conversation with a girl? But in your case, it seems like you didn't even go on a date. Like, that to me would be a definition of something. Okay, we're at least dating if we go on a date. But to me, it just seems like for some reason this girl knows that you like her, but nothing has been done about it. You said that you're going slow. That's not the way to go about things. You got to go fast. Nothing was here, but you thought that, I don't know, this girl was your future wife or something. That's just not the way it was. Don't get caught up in that way of thinking again. That's my advice, because you're going to fucking keep getting hurt over and over if you keep thinking like that. You really need to act on your intentions. All right, let's get into the second post for this episode. It's another pretty short one. How do you even start a conversation with a girl anymore? Lately, I've been feeling pretty lonely and honestly kind of clueless about how to talk to someone I'm interested in. It feels like everyone just knows what to say and I'm over here overthinking every word. If you've been in the same spot, how did you get past that awkward starting point? I just want to feel a bit more confident instead of freezing up every time. Well, if you feel like everyone else knows what to say and you're here overthinking every word, I mean, no, nobody knows what to say really, but you are overthinking probably. It's not that hard to get decent at approaching women. And by decent, I mean like the confidence where you can consistently do it and your results hopefully will improve over time. But just to get over that initial hurdle, it's not that hard. I'm assuming that you're talking about cold approach, by the way. You don't explicitly say that, but based on what you've written, I think that's what you're talking about. Most guys don't cold approach, and that's why it's such a great avenue to find girls. So thinking that everyone else knows what to say, I mean, most other guys are not even in the game. They're not going up to girls. They're just on apps or whatever. So just the fact that you're doing that, you're already well ahead of them. And it shows that you've got more balls than them, even if you feel like you're awkward and freezing up right now. So the advice is simple. You just got to relax. I don't know why you're overthinking every word. But believe me, even I can get into that frame of mind of like not really knowing what to say and feeling awkward if I go a long time without approaching. So I definitely get that. But the more you do it, you will get better at it. You will build that confidence. To get past the awkward starting point, I like to remind myself and other guys that you have to give yourself permission to fail, give yourself permission to suck. Just accept the fact that at the beginning, especially when you go up to girls and talk to them, you might fuck up. And of course, even as a complete beginner, you might go up to them and you might strike up a conversation and you might trade numbers and you might go on a date later and you might bang her later. But just accept the fact that you also might suck at it at the beginning as well and you might fail. I think that's what holds everyone back from approaching girls, right? Every guy in the world would do cold approach if they knew that when they go up to a woman and talk to her, then she's going to end up in his bed later that night. Like, there would be no reason not to do it, right? But because of the fear of failure, the amount of guys that do it is very small. So that's it. That's the advice that I like to keep in mind, whether it's just a day where I happen to be lacking in confidence more so than normal, or if I've done a couple approaches and it seems like the girls are not giving me anything to work with. Just, okay, it's okay to fail. I'm trying here. It's not a big deal if I fail. Failure when it comes to approaching girls is temporary, because I could have a complete failure day where I talk to 10 girls and I get none of their phone numbers, and I could go talk to 10 the next day and I get 8 or 9 phone numbers, right? And also, I should mention here that the victory is in telling yourself to approach them and doing it. Whether or not they give you their phone number, obviously that's what we want in the end, right? Or for them to go on a date with us right away. But you also can't really judge your success on whether they do that or not. You should put most of your gauge of success on yourself approaching them. So keep approaching. It's okay if you keep freezing up. Eventually you will get over it, but just give yourself permission to suck. You might suck for a while, and that's okay. All right, let's go on to the next post for this episode. How to take someone out of your head instantly? I can't get someone out of my head, and it's exhausting. I'm not romanticizing it. I'm just tired of my mind looping back to them no matter what I do. I don't want closure from them or advice like time heals. I just want practical ways to stop the mental replay and detach emotionally. What has actually worked for you? I've realized that the hardest part of moving on isn't losing the person, it's losing the version of them my mind keeps replaying. How do you break that attachment when nothing bad even happened, but it still won't let you go? The only answer is more girls, isn't it? That's what I would want to do, but I know even that can be difficult sometimes. Sometimes you just feel like doing absolutely nothing if you're in this situation that you're in. But really, if you can make an effort to meet more girls, date more girls, bang more girls, I think that's what's going to make you feel the best in the long run. It would make me feel good. And okay, maybe you have a nice night with a different girl, and then as soon as this girl goes home, you start thinking about the other girl again. Whatever, at least you got away for a temporary amount of time and you spent a nice night with another girl. And it also might be a little bit petty of me, but I also would think for myself in that situation, like, yeah, if that girl knew that I was banging a new girl like 3 days after we broke up, I think she would be pretty jealous. And that would make me feel pretty good. This guy mentions in the comments that it ended when he told her he couldn't continue as just friends because his feelings were more than that. She wasn't emotionally available and hadn't fully moved on from someone she had been seeing before him, so he chose to step away rather than staying half invested. He also says that they were together for around 6 months. And she also mentioned to him that she can't invest in him knowing that she's thinking about someone else all the time. I will get back to providing some more ways to get someone else out of your head, but when I read stuff like this, I'm just wondering if he should have even broken up with this girl. I don't really know the dynamics of your relationship or anything, but for me, it's kind of like, okay, you like this girl, you're with her for 6 months, I assume you're banging and doing everything that comes with being in a relationship for 6 months, or maybe that label of relationship wasn't on it, which is totally fine, maybe it was just dating or whatever, but as long as you're having sex, I don't know if I would break up with the girl in that situation. I mean, maybe if you're really serious about finding a wife, it's not like this girl was out banging other guys. She was just thinking about someone else. Like, okay, I understand. That's not what I would like in a relationship. But again, it comes back to, I don't know how serious you guys were. Like, if I had a girl that I was meeting regularly, which you could consider as dating, but definitely not my girlfriend. Like, I don't know. What do I care if she's thinking about some other guy that she can't get? She's with me. She's banging me all the time. That's fine. I think it's really important that you say she hadn't fully moved on. But it's like, does she want to move on? Is it totally finished with that other person? If it is, then okay, whatever, let her deal with that emotional shit on her end, but I'm gonna keep meeting her and banging her. I don't know. I definitely don't want this to come across as me being okay with having a legitimate girlfriend who's not seeing me as the most important guy in her life and the one that she always wants to hang out with and be with. This girl that I'm about to talk about is not exactly like this situation. It's pretty different, but I don't know. It's coming up to my head right now for kind of the same thing of like, yeah, I'm gonna take advantage of what's in front of me for now, and it might not last forever, but she's with me. She's not banging anybody else. I'm going to do it. I met this really nice girl who was just temporarily staying here in the States for a few months for work. I met her through cold approach at a restaurant for like breakfast. She was there with her friend and I thought she was really cute. So I struck up a conversation with them and yada, yada, yada. We met like every weekend for the, 3 months or so that she was staying there. And eventually, after maybe like 4 meetings, something like that, she said, hey, I've got a boyfriend back in my home country, by the way. And she said that she told me because she knew that I wouldn't think that it's a big deal and I would just not really care about it. And she was correct, because that's just the vibe I give off to her. And it's a bit cringe to admit, but at this point in my life, I was a little bit involved with like game and cold approach. I know I just casually said that I cold approached this girl and met her, but that was like really, really early on for me. I was definitely not a seasoned cold approacher at that point. So even with this girl, like those thoughts do come in like, damn, could this girl be my girlfriend? Could we fucking have a long relationship here? Which is not really what I wanted, but like those thoughts just, they do creep in when you meet a nice girl, especially when you're not extremely experienced with them. Again, at that point, I definitely had my fair number of girls by then, but like the real fucking hardcore approaching Roy Calvin did not really come out yet. I was pretty new then. But never for a second did it cross my mind that I need to stop seeing this girl because she's got this other guy in her life that's more important to her than me. I'm like, okay, she's here temporarily. I'm going to live life. I'm going to take advantage of this while I can. She wants to keep having sex. I want to keep doing the same thing. She's not actively banging some other guy the night after I bang her, right? We're staying over at each other's place. She's in my bed on a phone call with her boyfriend back home. Luckily, the place that she was staying in also had just like white bed sheets and white pillows, the same as my place. So she would just get on video call in my bed alone. I wasn't in the bed with her and just pretend she's at her place calling with her boyfriend. That's a fun experience. So yeah, I don't know. You know yourself better than me. If you were really that hung up on this girl and you wanted to have a complete life and never bang anyone else again, then I guess maybe you had to cut it off. But I don't know. Maybe you should have just kept going along with the ride while it lasted. Maybe a bit more time she would have been completely over him and you would be the guy that she cares about the most. Or, I mean, you probably were the guy that she cared about the most. She was with you, but she's just still, okay, thinking about her past breakup. I mean, that's kind of normal to think about for a while, right? Not that many people can move on right away. I don't know how much time she had or anything. But okay, so more advice to get over her and stop thinking about her. I mean, this has already been brought up in the comments, and this is pretty normal advice, especially for me. But I do definitely agree with finding a new hobby, something that you can do to take your mind off things, something that keeps your brain active. You're thinking about doing your new hobby, you don't have time to think about this girl. Someone in the comments had suggested something like learning an instrument. I think that's a great idea. I also recommend buying a dartboard. You know, you can get fucking good at darts and you just play darts at home all the time. There's some really good fucking electronic boards you can get for home right now. Suddenly this sounds like an ad read, but it's not. You can get it and hang it up. It counts for you. It's awesome. I got one a few years ago. I love playing it. It's good for whatever mindset I want to be in. I can really focus on what I'm doing and I can just block everything else out. I don't mean with girls necessarily. I just mean like, you know, if work was really busy that day and I don't want to fucking think about it for an hour, I can just really focus on playing darts. But also if there's something I want to think about, then I can kind of just mindlessly play darts and not really care too much about how well I'm doing, but just give me some time away from a screen to ponder about things. It's good. Video games too. I don't think you need to turn into somebody who plays video games for 8 hours a day, but if you want to buy yourself some video games, or, you know, you can get an emulator on your computer to play some older games or even newer ones, I guess. I don't know. I'm not too up on the technology about it all. Or you can go somewhere to play video games, like a bar that has video game consoles, anything like that to distract yourself. Sometimes you just got to do anything to make your brain happy. And I don't mean into drugs and anything like that, but what I'm saying is maybe you do need like 1 week or two of playing fucking video games nonstop. Okay, that's not a sustainable forever strategy, but just at the beginning here where it stings the most, all right, maybe we got to do something like that. But also, yeah, something like an instrument, something like darts, something that you can actually improve at and may become a real world skill. That would be great, especially if you can do something that involves making money with whatever you decide to pursue right now. Okay, let's go on to the fourth post for this episode. Girl I'm dating who's very slow to respond. I'm 22 and she's 24. We met at the gym and I asked her out. She was into it and everything went great, so we immediately planned a second date with the same result. She suggested the third and fourth dates, and the last time she invited me to her grandparents' house since no one was home at the time. The last date went great. We watched a movie together, and with the excuse of keeping her warm, we hugged and cuddled the whole time for the first time. We talked a lot about future events together, vacations, etc. Between one topic and another, she told me she doesn't usually show this much affection, so that's a point for me. The problem is that 2 weeks ago, she had to leave for Milan for a 6-month internship. She'll be back to take some exams since she's still studying, but the problem is that when we text each other, she takes really long to respond. I tried to clarify the matter since I usually find time to reply to everyone, and she actually claims she doesn't reply when she's busy, and she's making an exception with me since we don't see each other that often anymore. I sometimes see her online, but it often happens that she doesn't reply to messages, or that she posts stories without even reading them. For example, I texted her yesterday around 8 p.m., and she replied this morning around 10 a.m., but we text every day. It must be said that when she replies after several hours, she always apologizes. It's still weird to think that she doesn't even have 5 seconds to write a message, maybe even before bed. I'm probably suffering from attachment anxiety, so I'm getting too paranoid. Every time we've gone out together, she's barely used her phone, so I don't know if she's just waning interest or not. Before we said goodbye, she jokingly said, "Don't find someone else at the gym, and don't get engaged." Is it normal to reply after so many hours even though you're using your phone? Is the time it takes for someone to reply to messages related to their level of interest? Well, I'm kind of dumbfounded here because after I read this post, I dug into the comments, and this guy says that he also lives in Italy and Milan is only like a 4 hour drive for him. I thought this guy was in the US and she was moving to another country. 4 hour drive? First of all, this can barely be considered long distance. I mean, it's totally viable for you to meet this girl once a week still. Like I'm sure there's a bus to go to Milan and you could just hang out on like Saturday night every week. I'm not exactly saying that that's the best thing to suggest. That kind of should have been brought up before she left. But it seems that you guys have been on 5 dates, which is actually really different than going on like 1 or 2 dates. Like something is kind of building here. So my instinct now is telling me that you probably should have been visiting her at least every couple of weeks. I mean, there's no need to go 6 months without seeing each other if she lives 4 hours away. And I know you mentioned that she'll come back sometimes for exams, but I assume that's not like every 2 weeks or whatever. Before I get into the texting stuff, I want to rewind about this date that you had where you watched a movie together and you said you had an excuse of keeping her warm, so you hugged and cuddled the whole time. I guess that's okay. I mean, it happened. You were able to cuddle with her. But for me, I don't really like making excuses. I think you can say that I want to keep you warm in a way that, like, it's very clearly an excuse. Like, I would want to do that with a girl. Just tell her, like, "Oh yeah, you got to cuddle with me because it's pretty cold here." And she would probably understand, like, okay, yeah, he's clearly joking and just wants an excuse to touch me. Though I have to put a disclaimer here and say that this is something that I would do on like the first date, not the 5th date. So that's one thing. But I hope that you didn't say like, "Oh, it's kind of cold here, so why don't you come and cuddle with me, I guess." You know what I'm trying to say. I think it's to your advantage to let the girl know that you want to touch her because you want to touch her, not because you're trying to keep her warm or anything. Now, there's kind of an elephant in the room here, but it was much more relevant when I thought you guys were in the US and you weren't both in Italy, because there's so many comments saying that, "Oh, she's just banging guys in Milan now. Forget about her." That could totally be true. I mean, that's where my mind goes as well. I'll tell you more about my approach of what to do when girls travel in a minute. But it's not necessarily true, and I think it's much less likely when the girl is still in her own country. She's not going to some brand new place where she doesn't know anybody and she feels like she has freedom to do things without getting judged. I mean, all that is true when you go to a new city, but I'm saying like she still has the culture of her whole country coming down on her. She's in an unfamiliar place, but not really. It's still Italy. Everyone's still speaking her language. It's still home to her. Now, I've been in situations like this with girls all around the world where it might be I was hanging out with a girl and she goes and travels somewhere, whether it be for like a month or 6 months, or I meet a girl where I'm traveling and then I go back home for a year or whatever, and I still try to keep the relationship going with the girl. And by relationship, I mean sense of familiarity, not that we're in a relationship, but just, hey, I'm that guy that you banged and let's stay in touch so we can do it again next time I'm there. So I don't want to jump to the 100% conclusion that she's met someone in Milan instantly and now she's banging him or banging a bunch of guys all the time. But I do kind of like to have the mindset that that is totally possible, and I'm not going to get too invested in this because that might be what's going on. I'm more of like, okay, I'm going to keep messaging with this girl. Maybe next time we're in the same place, we can meet up and hang out again. But also, I'm prepared that this might just fade away because of some other guy or just because she gets bored, anything like that. So I'm just going to keep it really low investment. I'm not going to get hung up on this girl. So that kind of segues into the messaging aspect. You're saying that you message her at 8 p.m. and she replies at 10 a.m. I mean, it does kind of suck to not get that message before she goes to bed, but it's possible that she forgets. I mean, I do that too, even just to my friends. Like, they'll send me a message at an inopportune time and I won't reply, and I'll mean to later, but then I just don't because I forget about it. So I don't want to accuse her of being a bad texter just for that reason. Now, of course, if you listen to other episodes of the podcast, you'll see that I think most guys message way too often, like every single day, every single hour. That's way too much. But in this case, the girl's 4 hours away. I would try to keep a message every couple of days. That's fine. We don't need to be talking every day. The other thing about waiting to reply, Like, I do this sometimes, especially with girls who are traveling. Again, between me and them, there would be much more distance than just 4 hours. But sometimes you want to wait until you have like a solid block of time where you can actually think of a response instead of just quickly putting together a response like while you're in the middle of doing something else. Like, I get that. With some girls, I want to have a real nice, nothing else to do block of time where I can then actually take some time to compose whatever message I want to send. So she might be doing the same thing. I feel like I'm coming off as much more apologetic for a girl's behavior than I usually do, but I really don't see much wrong in what's going on here. I think a situation where a girl says, hey, I'm moving 4 hours away temporarily so that I can study is much different than a girl saying, hey, I'm moving to a different continent for a few months to find myself. Like, those are really two different things. So you probably are suffering from the attachment anxiety, like you say, and that's a terrible thing to have as a guy. You definitely want to get over that. Maybe easier said than done, but for me, the answer is just find more girls and text with them. And again, the advice I said of when girls travel or when I travel away from girls, just let them live their life and keep checking in, every couple of days, every week, whatever, and don't get your expectations too high. But the good thing is that she's only 4 hours away. You could probably set up a meeting out there in Milan if you want to, and it seems like she's going to come home and visit. So I think your chances of continuing dating with this girl are pretty good. Let's move on to post number 5 for this episode. Is it wrong? Well, I was texting 2 girls from a dating app and went on a dinner date with the first one, and neither of us felt any romantic chemistry, but we did have a lot of common interests. One of those was playing tennis. We both agreed there was no romantic spark, or however you want to call it, but we still agreed to play some tennis matches meanwhile and be friends. The thing is, I went on a date with the second girl and it went really well. A lot of chemistry. The date went on for like 7 hours and we kissed in the end. Obviously, I want to try more with the second girl and see how it goes, yet it feels wrong to still chat with the other one and play tennis with her while going further with the girl that I'm interested in, and both of us are looking for a relationship. Any advice on how I should deal with this? Should I break contact with the first girl? Am I overthinking this too much? I think I need to make a new rule on this podcast that thou shalt not receive advice if thou cannot use a period in your paragraph of text. I really hope English is your second language. But anyway, I will still give advice on this. It's absolutely not wrong. You have nothing to owe to these girls. If this first girl legitimately just wants to be friends and has no romantic interest in you and you don't want to pursue her, which is really important because you could still make something happen here, then you can even tell the first girl, like, it's not an announcement of like, hey, I need to let you know this thing. Just when you go play tennis or hang out or whatever, you can say, oh yeah, I went on a date with this other girl the other day. Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Me, I probably wouldn't say that. If this girl is kind of cute and you're still going to hang out, I would still probably be trying to bang her. And I've mentioned this many times, like maybe the first meeting you don't feel anything and she doesn't feel anything either. But if you guys were to keep hanging out, maybe you would. I think many people these days, from what I read on Reddit at least, are fairly quick to cut things off with the other person when it's like you kind of barely gave it a chance. I've had tons of girls who I meet them and I'm like, okay, this girl is not really that special, but I'm still gonna try to get her to come home with me. And if she comes, great. And if we have sex, then great. And that has happened. And then I'm like, okay, that was actually pretty good. I'm going to keep seeing this girl for a while. I do cut some girls off after the first date and never want to see them again, but I trust my judgment because I've had a lot of experience. So with the average Reddit post, I'm sorry, I just don't really believe that it was a situation to cut things off after the first date. I mean, a friend is fine too, but I'm not really big on the whole guys and girls can be friends thing. I mean, it's going to cause a problem for you at some point. Let's say that in the future you get a girlfriend and she wants to be really serious and she tells you, yeah, I don't want you hanging out with that girl anymore. I think that's a pretty reasonable thing to request of a guy because I think it would be reasonable of a guy to request a girl that too. Like, I'm not going to have my girlfriend hanging out with guys. Are you crazy? I mean, I probably wouldn't date a girl in the first place who has guy friends, but you know what I'm saying here, right? But yeah, man, especially after one date with each girl, you owe nothing to either of them. Keep doing what you want to do. Find a third girl to meet and go on a date with. You can absolutely date multiple girls at once. So of course you can play tennis with one who you supposedly have no romantic intentions with and keep going on dates with another girl who you're trying to bang, no problem. I will say that I've had girls through the years that we become quote unquote friends just because, I don't know, I've had a couple of weird situations. I can just remember one who I approached her and we went on an Insta date, which is when you go instantly on a date right then and there when I approached her. And she tells me as we're just eating some food that she has a boyfriend. And that in itself is not a total red light. Like, I could still try to bring her home and have sex with her. But those were in like my top days where I just had so many girls around and banging so many girls. I'm like, whatever, this is not even like worth it for me to try to get her to come home with me. I don't really even care that much because I've got this amount of dates coming up this week. I got this amount of girls that I meet regularly. I know when I go out again in a couple days, I'll get another girl who's going to come on a date with me. So whatever, I'll hang out with this girl and we can be friends. That's cool, whatever. But her and other girls that I've become friends with, they just kind of fade away. I don't know if it's because they get jealous of me, or especially if I tell them anything about the like volume of girls I was banging. Maybe they just think, maybe I shouldn't be hanging around with a guy like this. And also them as well. Like, their boyfriend's probably not going to be happy with them being friends with me. But hey, if you like playing tennis and you found a new girl that you can go play tennis with, there's nothing wrong with that. Sounds good to me. Keep doing it. Keep finding other girls too. Keep dating. It's all good. Okay, I've got one more post for this episode. I've started to get quite a bit of attention from women recently, but for some reason I get too scared and never let things progress. I'm 27 and was always an ugly duckling growing up. I was shy, cared too much about what others thought of me, was always really awkward when talking to girls I like. I think a lot of people found it endearing but not really attractive. I was able to crack a few jokes and keep things light and make friends with women, but nothing really beyond that. I've always been short and had a bit of a baby face too, so I think girls always saw me as cute rather than hot. In the last year or so, and particularly the last few months, something seems to have changed. I think it's some mixture of me having grown into my looks, becoming more outgoing, social, and caring less what others think of me, hitting the gym more, dressing better, and stuff that has changed things. I've noticed girls I've known for years flirting with me quite forwardly. I've met girls at bars and stuff, and danced with them all night. A few have gave me their numbers unprompted. In the last couple of months, I've kissed a few girls and just in general felt like I've gotten a lot more attention. On dating apps, I've been getting way more matches, and a coworker recently told me when she and the other women at work talk about who they find hottest at my work, my name pops up a lot. The thing is, I've been so used to getting almost no attention my whole life that it kind of terrifies me. Beyond just a harmless kiss or whatever, I get scared. I've only ever had sex once. We were both really drunk and it wasn't great at all. I'm so out of my depth at an age where women expect me to know what I'm doing. It's gotten to the point that my friends get genuinely frustrated at me for not being able to seal the deal. One of my friends said point blank he hates watching someone be obviously interested in me, and it's like I go out of my way to turn them off. The truth is, when things are progressing and it looks like it might escalate, I panic and back off a bit, and it fizzles out. My brain refuses to believe this isn't some big joke, or that anyone could ever be attracted to me. I think I've been alone so long, anything else just seems so impossible and terrifying because I've never had any of that in my life. I don't know how to handle it. Obviously, though, I want to get better at this. I want to enjoy all that, date around, and eventually meet someone and settle down. And yeah, it's been a big confidence boost to me to have this sort of attention, but it's also exposed a lot of long-held insecurities I've never had to really face. On paper, I'm far more confident now, and less at the whims of my social anxiety, except when it comes to dating and sex. And then it's like I revert to being a scared 15-year-old boy. How can I deal with this? Well, that's quite a good situation that you've got there. I think all guys wish that they could do what you've done. It seems like you've just become attractive overnight, and I don't know how you did it. I wish that I had some more insights on that. However, I would also say that until you get the results of going on more dates and having sex with girls, that this is all kind of just in theory. It's like in theory you're more attractive, but do we have the proof yet? No, we don't. But girls giving you numbers unprompted, that's definitely some proof. We're getting there with that. I really think the only way to approach this is that practice makes perfect, and the more experience you get, the more you'll deal with these situations properly. I don't think there's like an overnight mindset shift that you can make. But you do deserve these girls, especially if you still have to put in a bit of work to get it. Like if they come up and give you their number, well, you still got to plan the date and have the confidence to bring her home with you and have the confidence to kiss her, everything like that. You can do this. You said that one of your friends said that he gets frustrated with you when he sees girls that come up to you and they want to, escalate things, but you panic and back off. I see that with some guys too. It's this self-sabotage kind of thing. Guys do it for different reasons. Like I have one friend who just kind of lets things fizzle out with girls when he has no other options around. And then a few months later, he's like, oh man, I should have kept meeting that girl or texting her. And now I have nobody around anymore. And she was actually a really nice girl. I don't know why that self-sabotage comes out with some guys. I also know that it's unfortunate you've only had sex one time in your life. But get rid of this mindset where you say that girls expect you to know what to do. Girls just kind of assume that you do know what to do, but I don't think they like consciously think about it. But anyway, you can fake that. Don't worry about it. You know how to have sex with a girl. It doesn't matter if you've only done it one time up until now. You're 27, yeah, that's unfortunate. But the way that these girls seem to be attracted to you right now, it seems like that number can go up exponentially from here going onward. So you got to go for it and build that confidence and accept something that I said earlier in the episode, which is that you could fail. It's okay to suck. You might invite a girl out on a date and have no idea what you're doing, and it might suck and it might destroy her expectations of how you're going to be. That's fine. You can keep asking for advice. You can post on Reddit and get some bad advice, or you can also message me with the link in the show notes. It's going to be okay. I'm kind of lucky to have never had that problem. Not that I've always been swimming in girls my entire life. That's absolutely not the case. It took work to get to where I am, but I've never felt like, oh, I don't deserve this girl. I do see some guys that I approach with who are like scared to approach the hottest girls. But for me, it's never been a problem of like, oh my God, how am I going to go up and talk to this super hot girl? Now, there are some that even get my heart fluttering more than normal. Absolutely. But I can keep it together, and so can you as you get more experience. And of course, in my early days of approaching girls, it's not like I would go up to these hottest girls and have a great conversation and they would be receptive. No, I would trip over my own words, sure, and most of them wouldn't be interested in me. But as I got experience too, I just learned with how to deal with it more. And eventually those type of girls will talk with me and go out on a date with me. Same thing is happening to you right now. It seems like you don't even have to put in a lot of work to get the dates, which is a good thing. It's a great position to be in. Girls are coming up to you. You deserve this. You say you want to eventually meet someone and settle down. This is the best way to do it. Date a ton of girls. Try to have sex with them quickly. That's my advice. So many guys would like to be in your position, so don't throw it away. Okay, that's it for this episode of You Don't Know Anything About Women. Make sure you check out the link in the show notes if you want to get in touch or if you want to support the show, and I'll see you next time.